The Merry Pranksters, Chapter 9, Episode 3. Yeah, and watch what you say around Val. Like, if Blair finds out, we're as good as fucked. No sooner than the crest on another bottle of E&J is broken than the unfamiliar chime of the doorbell causes the three of us to snap our heads towards the front door. Blair and Salai walk in carrying a six-pack of Smirnoff Ice with their heads all empty like two bohemian hint bags. Following not far behind them, Valerie comes skimming through rays of violet like an Eskimo daydream. They sat down cheerfully, not in a phony way, but as if one of them suggested they come by to cheer me up, and no one protested. Blair isn't nearly as inconspicuous as she thinks she is, peeking around the posh living room to see if Gonzo is here. She knows not to push for too many details, so Dickie sets her mind at ease and tells her we haven't seen him in a way that lets her know he's probably not dead. Salai and Dickie exchange what I assume are friendly greetings, and I don't need to be fluent in Spanish to see that she's telling him that he can have her any time he's ready. With her usual dull-witted tact, Salai turns to me and says, "Jesus Christ, Schultz," as she drags the Baccarat crystal ashtray towards her, causing it to screech along the glass coffee table. "I heard it was bad, but goddamn, dude, that's a gnarly scar." Blair tells her to shut up with an uncomfortable laugh, then leans into me and says, "It's not that bad. I mean, it'll heal." Quietly sitting at the end of the couch, Valerie has been timidly stealing glances from behind her drink. When she was ready, she walked over and carefully sat down next to me, bringing all the lavender air with her. Her unending eyes are a hypnotic spiraling universe, eviscerating the rest of the room from existence. The sound of Blair's voice whimpering through a sad story of loss and betrayal by the one she loves is the first to fade into the background. All I can smell is the light scent of patchouli. All I feel is the pulse of her heart and her forefinger quicken on my hideous face. I'm regulating by taking slow, deliberate breaths until we're both looking down bashfully, and my lower lip begins to quiver. Looking up, first with my eyes, then boldly with my head. All I can see is the phantasmagoria in her eyes and the pure white scarf tied tightly around her neck like a security blanket. She takes my guitar by the neck, sets it down against the black leather couch, and then, gently taking my face in her hands, begins to smile at me for the first time. Touching the fleshy gash above my eye softly, she inspects each infraction, pauses, then looks me directly in the eyes as if she's made up her mind about something. She whispers suddenly in my ear, "Come on, let's go." Leading me to my bedroom by the hand, Val gently shuts the door behind us with a click of the latch. Standing awkwardly in the middle of my room, I shove my hands in the back pockets of my Calvins and rock back and forth on my heels, watching her. She finally raises her glowing eyes to meet mine, and it's then I notice the first glimpse of a naughty twinkle. As I'm holding the look we're sharing, she bites the bottom of her lip and turns the lock. The shadow from behind her eyes emerges like a phantom who's used to being told she's trouble before her finger slowly dims the light. We stand melting on the plush Persian rug when she stops to playfully bat her eyes at me before lifting her white t-shirt up over her head. Along with the red bandana holding back her wild hair, the last drop of inhibition, too, is stripped away. Standing before me, wearing only a thin cotton bra and her pearl-colored ribbon, I follow the line of her shoulder down her silky skin as she sways from side to side mischievously. With her white bra hanging unclasped, held up with one lazy arm, she drops her right shoulder to flash me a pouty look. After that, she innocently blinks her dark eyes at me and switches to the left, where she hits me with the savage gaze of a predator. We both giggle before she catches herself and locks eyes with me. Lowering her hands slowly, all the walls she'd constructed come crumbling down, along with her soft cotton bra, leaving only an ivory white strip of cashmere resting on the round curve of her breast. For years, in the moments when I would really take time and think this through, this is exactly how I'd imagined it. I slide down her bronze tan line with the palm of my hand, slowly over her smooth scarf, her perfect chest, then gently over the bruises on one arm and then the other. Stumbling backwards until we run up against my hothouse Kennedy king-size bed, she looks at it oddly before lifting herself up. Then, falling back onto the mattress, her dark hair splashes against the silky white bedding. Like a rolling thunderstorm, accumulating kinetic energy, climbing up on the bed proves detrimental to my broken ribs. Once I find myself beneath her, looking up at her the way I'd always dreamed of looking up at her, she closes her eyes. Reaching down deep, she lowers herself onto me with a sharp gasp. Slowly at first, then accelerating quickly, she flips her head back, taking damp locks of curly hair with it, while glistening beads of sweat run down her neck, bleeding through her milky white ribbon. Our eyes locked, our fingers intertwined, she's crashing into me until at last she collapses onto my heaving chest. Lying flat on her stomach, I move a few loose strands of damp hair from her face and a pure smile appears. When she blinks her eyes open, she sees the pain in my eyes and asks me if I'm all right, touching my cracked ribs. I lie and tell her I'm fine, then out of habit, ask her what she wants to do. She takes a moment to consider her answer while dust stars twinkle in the ray of daylight piercing through the velvet curtain, turning her dark hair a golden auburn. It takes her less time to sit up and say, "Let's go drink whiskey." "I thought you'd never ask," I gasp, clutching my ribs, then suggest, you go first. She jumps up and starts to gather her clothes, putting on one garment at a time while I lay there, soaking in as much of this as my mind will absorb, hoping even a fraction of it will remain. "Hey," I ask as she pulls her white t-shirt over her long brown hair, putting the final punctuation on this ode to toxicity we've written. "I just remembered, I'm out of painkillers. Do you guys have anything?" Snapping her bra shut from behind her back, she gives me a raw look of honesty that tells me I shouldn't ask questions I don't want to know the answer to. Burying her head in her shoulder, she slides her hands up to cover the purple bruises on her arms. Reluctantly, and with a hint of coercion, she tells me Blair may have something. Sitting on the brown suede boulevardy bench at the foot of my bed, she reaches down to put on her glass slippers, tucks her hair behind her ear, and looks around with a distracted curiosity. When she stands, I'm left reeling in a pain I would gladly endure for all eternity, and tapping at the scars which are starting to feel good to the touch. She reaches out to open the door, but looks back at me first. Pausing, wanting to say something profound, she ends up just saying, "Well, don't be too long. I'll be all alone out there." Taking a deep breath, she goes to open the bedroom door. Before walking out, she stops to ask, "By the way, did you guys do something different with this place?"